coming up this week on The Youth Perspective.
And the genesis of all of this, though, was that when I was in university in Florida, I was a part of what they had. It was the Florida College Student of the Year Awards program. In 1992, I was a grad student at that time at Nova Southeastern University. I was at the state capitol being recognized. I was one of 7 finalists in that awards program. And actually, in Tallahassee, I said, boy, it'll be good when I get back home to have something like this. And because it was a prestigious awards program, you know, they recognize students from all over the state of Florida. So I wanted to bring it home. And so I had the opportunity as president of Pan-Atlantic Council, and as we now say, the rest is history.
The Youth Perspective, where we shine the light on the youth of our nation. You don't want to miss this episode each Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on 1540 a.m. Power 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas.
I'm trying to be great, and I'm on my way, way up, way up, way up. It's never too late, and I'm on my way.
I'ma leave my mark, ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set.
With so much negativity being yielded at the youth of our nation, it seems hard to find any signs of a bright future. Coming from a legendary past, the new generation of Bahamians seek to take this nation to heights it's never seen. That's where the youth perspective comes in. We seek to display tomorrow's leaders in every facet of society. Each show will focus on today's pace-setters, trendsetters, movers and shakers, and the next generation of great, impactful Bahamians. We seek to uplift, motivate, and encourage our listeners. Tune in as we address issues of importance with wisdom and intelligence, all from the youth perspective.
And we're back. Welcome to another edition of The Youth Perspective with yours truly, Kashigan Jamal. And you're tuning in to our 11th season. We've been doing this, yes, for 11 years. Each and every Saturday right here on the National Voice of the Bahamas, 1540 a.m., 104.5 FM, the National Voice, and on Inspiration, 107.9 FM, where it's all gospel all the time. Don't forget, you can check us out on 8:10 a.m., The Light in Grand Bahama. And just recently, we now have the show on the ZNS YouTube page. All right. So if you missed any of the episodes, search for the Youth Perspective and you'll see all of the shows from last year and this year as we continue to move through this year. And so thank you so much for locking it in each and every Saturday. And so we have a wonderful show for you this evening. And I've been waiting to get these folks on for now a few seasons. And we finally have them here. I got them, so they ain't going nowhere. Right? We got to keep them coming back. But I want to give you the intro before I introduce our guests. And so this episode of Youth Perspective, we'll be talking about the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year. And so as we talk about this foundation, it is committed to recognizing and encouraging academic excellence and leadership development among the who's who in the primary schools in their educational system. Now, through this prestigious awards program, they seek to reward, encourage, and inspire these students in their pursuit of excellence. And so we're going to have a great conversation. And if you ever wanted to know, how does my child get into it? How do they enroll? How do they become a part of it? You sit back and relax because we're going to tell you all about it. And so we're welcoming to the Youth Perspective their first time, but it won't be their last time, the president and the CEO of the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year Foundation. We have Mr. Ricardo P. Deveaux.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much
Good
for joining
evening.
us. And we have the wonderful Miss Stankisha Pinder. She's the Vice President of Programs and Communications of the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year Foundation, and a 1998 was a really good year, 4th runner-up in the awards program. How are you doing this evening?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you both on for this episode of the Youth Perspective. And so let's talk about the beginnings. How did this program come about? Like, whose idea was it, and how did it come about?
Well, I was the president of the Nassau Bahamas Pan-Atlantic Council, which is the governing body for fraternities and sororities. Mm-hmm. And as you know, when you are leading an organization, you always want something to be your legacy. And so I came up with the idea of a Bahamas Student of the Year. Mm-hmm. At that time, also, I was working at the Ministry of Education, and Dame Ivy DeMont was the Minister of Education. And when I told her about the Pan-Atlantic Council wanting to establish a program to recognize students. I think our view then was, let's look at high school. But she was a former primary school principal. And she was like, why don't y'all consider primary school? And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because no one at that time was doing anything for primary school. We had 4 educators who were on the Pan-Atlantic Council at the time. That was Dr. Carolyn Hall Knowles, Dr. Stacia Brown, and Sharon Poitier and Garnell Roll. They were educators, and educators tend to get excited. And so when I told them that the minister recommended that we consider primary school students, they were like, yes, that is a good niche. Well, what happened, and the genesis of all of this, though, was that when I was in university in Florida, I was a part of what they had. It was the Florida College Student of the Year Awards program in 1992. I was a grad student at that time at Nova Southeastern University. I was at the state capitol being recognized. I was one of 7 finalists in that awards program. And actually, in Tallahassee, I said, boy, it'll be good when I get back home to have something like this. And because it was a prestigious awards program, they recognize students from all over the state of Florida. So I wanted to bring it home. And so I had the opportunity as president of Pan-Atlantic Council, and as we now say, the rest is history.
The rest is history. And as I look at this this program, what do you think the recognition does for the young people who have been a part of this?
Well, let me tell you. First of all, Mr. Adley, I would say sitting in the studio is someone who will be able to explain this all so well, because when we would have met Stankisha, she would have been a 5th grade student at St. Thomas More Catholic Primary School. Wow. She would have been a part of the 2nd cohort of this awards program. And if we look at her now, she now made history. She's the first former nominee to serve on the board of directors of this organization. She's now our vice president of programs and communications. And so we've come full circles. But and even in her talk, I wanted to even talk about, because when she was the 4th runner-up in the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year, she got a trophy, and she'll tell you which her prizes are and what the prizes are. And after she finished, I'll tell you what the prizes are for the 4th runner-up now.
Okay.
Yes, during my time in the program, I received a trophy, a medal, and an ice cream cake during that time. At that time, I was so excited for my ice cream cake. So the 4th runner-up, that's what we received at that time. But being in the program from 1998 and to see how it has progressed now, it is overwhelming. It is exciting to see that this legacy is going to continue for years and years to come. It makes me proud to be a part of the program prior to and now to input into the program what I can as Vice President of Communications and Programs. It is overwhelming. It is an overwhelming experience. I guess he can tell you now what the 4th runner-up receives.
Let's talk about the prize.
Well, let me tell you, we had in 2024, the winner received $6,500 scholarship.
Wow.
The 2nd runner-up received a $6,000 scholarship. The 3rd and 4th and 5th runner-up received a $6,000 scholarship.
Wow. Wow. So, gone are the days of the ice cream.
And one of the interesting things that we have been able to say since 2018, every single child is a winner in this program, because since 2018, every single child has received a minimum of a $1,000 scholarship since 2018.
Wow.
So, but what we are, we don't really sell our program on the scholarship amount, but what we do is we sell them that every child is a winner. And one of the things that we have done, as we know, the deadline for this year was February 7th, and we have over 100 nominees in this year's awards program, so we're excited. And so in May of this year, we will have our 29th annual awards program. Miss Pinder here also, she's a little modest, because not only does she share the story of being a former nominee in this awards program, but she knows how it feels to also be on the other end because her son was a nominee in this awards program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
The legacy.
and she may want to know what was his placement.
He was fifth runner-up for his school, fifth
okay.
runner-up. So, yes, we have our little competition at home. So, he is in the era of he received a $6,000, and Mommy, you got an ice cream cake. But
Fifth run up.
for fifth runner-up, I said, but anyway, I came higher than you, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So that's good competition in the household that we have. And as Mr. Deveaux talked, spoke about us having over 100 nominees this year. Those nominees would have been nominated by their schools. The school took most of the hard work away from us, where they were able to choose one student out of their sixth grade class to represent in this program.
Okay, so let's reverse now. Let me ask some questions now. Now the deadline is passed, so next year, by the will of the Lord, we need to get you all in January to come and talk, and so we can get a little bit ahead.
Not a
But
problem.
is it open to just Nassau schools? Is Family Island?
No, our program is open to all primary schools, and that's why this year, and in 2024 we had 14 islands. All of 14 islands were represented. We had 125 nominees. As I said, the deadline just passed, so we know we have over 100, and it appears that we have most of the islands are covered.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we want to say right up front is that the Pan-Atlantic Council and the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year Foundation is only the conduit to recognize and reward these students. We don't judge.
Okay.
We have an independent panel that comes in that review all of the portfolios, and then they make a decision. Now, so we always tell the persons out there the decision is final. Now, of course, this program is very difficult, I say, because you're dealing with over 100 students who are the best of the best. So there's only one child could be nominated per school.
Right.
So when they nominate Stankisha, at that time there was 3 students, but now because the program has grown, there's only one child. So you are the best of the best of your school. Wow. You're the best of the best of your islands. And so it's very difficult for the judges because all of them have good grades. All of them are doing are in Girl Guides, Scouts, playing soccer, baseball. All of them in junior, a lot of them in junior Junkanoo or head boys or head girls. However, the judges are looking for students who are setting themselves apart.
Right.
Again, Ms. Pinder will tell you some of the projects that are required. However, the judges are not looking for someone who just started doing something in grade 6. And as the VP of program, she could tell you some of the things that they're looking forward to.
Yes, we're looking forward to the whole child, not just academics, the whole child in terms of civic organizations, community-based organizations, church organizations. However, we're looking for that prior to grade 6, from grade 3, or maybe even earlier you may have started something. But the judges, I figure they look deeply into all the portfolios to see exactly when certain projects and programs would have been established to ensure that we are looking at students who have been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I think I had a former runner-up in Nyla Simonet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was on with me talking about her symposium. And I was like, wow, this is what adults do.
Yeah. So let me tell you,
But,
I'm very proud. And one of the things that we love to see is that they continue these things after. And Nyla would have been our runner-up 2 years ago.
Right.
And at that time, she was doing her stamp for hunger. She was doing the collecting the super value stamps and to get food to feed the hungry. And she was also doing the symposium as a part of her platform.
Yeah.
And when I can see Nyla still doing that, that makes me proud because it makes me see that she was just not doing this because she wanted to be a part of this program, but she's actually maintained. And one of the interesting thing is that her symposium, which is now past, but she had invited even past nominees, females, to join her for that.
Right, to sit on the
on the platform.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's incredible. That's
Yes.
incredible, and that's the level
Yes.
at which you see other students providing programs and whatnot.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
We have a lot of authors as well.
Okay.
Children who are writing books as well. We have programs in schools. A lot of community based services. You'll have ones who probably beach cleanups as
Okay.
well. Different programs sell to raise money for certain charities. They do that as well. But we, like Mr. Deveaux said, we look for something that continues, and I think it makes our heart glad to see that we still have some students that are continuing what they started prior to the program, and they're continuing it now.
Yeah, and I think it's wonderful now that persons are hearing this. So
Yes.
those of you who have, your second graders, your third graders, your fourth graders, they can start to cultivate these programs and not wait until
Yes.
they get up there in grade 5 or so.
Yeah.
Well, one of the exciting things is that, persons saying, well, okay, my child goes to you are in a school in New Providence, and so I'm in the Family Island, so I don't have a fair share of being a part of this program. I am telling you, we have had Family Island winners and Family Island students who are doing well.
Yeah.
When you are in the Family Islands and you are doing the beach cleanups, or you're helping the elderly in your community, the judges are looking at those kind of stuff. So it isn't okay, you have to be doing something grand out there to think that the judges are looking for what you're doing in your respective community and how you're impacting that community. So if you are in Andros, or you are in Berry Island, and you're helping with coastal cleanup, or you're helping to feed the elderly in the community, they're looking for things like that. So it isn't, so they are looking at where you are and how you're impacting your community.
Yeah, and it seems that to be a privilege just to be among the 100 or the 100 plus.
Yes.
Who are nominated.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
even if
yes.
you don't make it to the higher ranks.
Yes,
Yeah.
something that we stress a lot. We tell them they are all winners,
Yes.
not just from the materialistic aspect of it, receiving a scholarship, but just being chosen
Yeah.
to represent your island. That's a great accomplishment.
We have the exciting for us is that our awards program is broken into like 3 different components. One, we have on the Friday night before the award ceremony, every child receives a medal from the Governor General.
Ooh.
So they last year we were at the Christchurch Cathedral. Other years we have been at the Baldwin Government House, and we've really outgrown that because of the amount of students.
Yeah.
And we had it at the
Wow.
cathedral. Last year we had the Prime Minister also with the Office of the Governor General, who presented each child a medal. So can you imagine the
standing up
sixth grader
Yeah.
being given a medal by the Prime Minister and Governor General of your country?
Yeah.
That is something at that age that they will always remember.
Yes, it will.
And then on that Saturday morning, we take them to go and see a movie, and we have a little session with them, just to encourage and inspire them. And then that night we have what we call the big awards program, where every child is sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to see, who is the student of the year.
Yeah, yeah. And so I know you said your son was the 5th runner-up.
Yeah.
How many runner-ups? And how deep does it go?
In 2024, and it all depends on the type of funding that we raise. Like last year, we were able to raise over $250,000.
Wow.
So we had I think up to 32 what we call rank finalists.
Rank finalists.
And they all the rank finalists received $3,000 and above. And then we have what we call finalists, and we had about 24 of them, and they received $2,000 each. Wow. And then we had another set of finalists who received $1,500, and I think we had about 25 of those. And then we have what you call the semifinalists, and they're the ones who receive $1,000. Last year, we had so many funds raised that we were able to give out of the 125, 75 got computers.
That's incredible. That's incredible because it shows, with discipline, hard work, listening to your teachers and doing what's necessary, and getting into this wonderful program.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You going to share something, Stankisha?
Last year, I had the opportunity of being a parent. I
Yeah.
sat in the seats like all of the other parents. I do not want to experience that. That again, the nerves and the
Wow.
anxiousness of sitting in the crowd, just waiting to hear your child's name. You always prepare them that you are a win already.
Yeah.
But just waiting, all your hands were sweating.
Yeah.
You didn't know if you needed to go use the restroom. You didn't
Yeah.
want to move. You
Yeah.
didn't know. But it is an awesome experience to continue the legacy with my son.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I know that parents around the country feel the same way as they converge to be able to hear. And it seems like it's growing year to year and continuing to get more popular.
Well, one of the things that we consider ourselves to be is we consider ourselves a family. So in any time in this awards program, you will like this year we will recognize, in addition to our nominees, all of those persons who are graduating who are a part of the program from the class of 2025. If they're graduating from high school, college, they're becoming doctors, because we track our students.
Okay, yes.
We track them, even when they're getting married.
Yeah.
Right. I saw you both trying to get married too. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
And
incredible.
In fact, it was, and they all asked, how do you remember these persons?
don't know.
But there was a young man who was in the program in 2006, Christopher Roll, and I saw him, and he told me that he got engaged to a young lady, and so I was like, well, what's her name? And then he was saying her name was Lauren, and so I was like, Lauren, no. And then when he told me, I said, Lauren, you realize y'all were in the Student of the Year the same year? And he's like, no, we were.
Wow.
I said, he represented St. Thomas More. She represented Xavier's. They got married last year. And of course, I highlighted them because there was two former nominees who got married. They didn't even realize that in 6th grade, they sat in the same auditorium at Bahamas Faith Ministries to receive their awards. And now, years later, they were getting married.
How do you even remember?
I don't know.
It is so interesting because even they would tell you, I mean, truly, I go to award ceremonies, and I was like, oh, this child was in the student year. This child was in the student year. I was like, Ricardo, how do you remember? But something just about 3 weeks ago, I was we have a website that, if you just Google Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year, you will be able to go on our website. But one of the things that I was starting to do is like, of course, I was tracking them as they were alive, and then I discovered that we had a number of our former Student of the Year nominees who had passed, and so I wanted to pay tribute to them, and so I said, I will have on our website create a space where we recognize them, and I thought it was like 5, but we had 13 of our former nominees who had passed, and when we placed that up, it was interesting to know how family members were so touched that here it was that their child was in this awards program, and now at the end of their journey that we were still recognizing them.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so,
No, that's incredible. That's really incredible. And so as we look forward to this year, is there anything else you can share? Anything else that persons need to know?
I would say that it's never too late to sponsor the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year. This is one program that I beg for. Begging is not my thing, but I will go to handstands for the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year because, like you said, you can see the vast increase and progression that it continues to do in the Bahamas. So if you are out there and you want to sponsor the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year, don't hesitate at all. We welcome any sponsorship.
And we always say it matters not how any amount. We have told persons we have donations of scholarships of $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and it goes up to $6,500. But someone might say, well, I don't have all that money, but you can also purchase a trophy for a child, and that's $25. You can help to bring a child in. You can spend $100 towards the travel of a child, because what happened is our foundation also pays for all of our nominees to come in for the awards program. Yeah, so on an annual basis, we spend probably about $20,000 just bringing them in, and people see this awards program. Every single person who is a part of this awards program who works, there are no paid staff. We are all volunteers. We have our own respective jobs, but we come together to do this program because we believe in the youth of this nation.
Right, and the finances goes to the children.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, one of the things that we pride ourselves in, and people, they see this telephone book that we produce.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
and let me tell you,
Yeah.
what we have done in our book is that we have, so that persons will know where the money goes, we are audited, and we place the audit in the book.
Ah, wow.
So
Transparency.
every year we are truly believers that, hey, we are going to let people know just how the money is spent. And so every year in our book this year, we'll have our audit financial statements in the book again. We truly believe that.
That's incredible. And so this has been a rewarding experience for me because I've seen it, and I've seen the young persons and communicate with them, but I've never really got to sit down and talk to the organization and kind of hear your heartbeat. And so I'm really loving what I'm hearing, and I'm sure that the listening audience is loving it as well.
Yeah. Well, what we can do, especially our last year winner and stuff like that, whenever you have an opportunity, we'd love for her to be interviewed on your show.
Sounds
And so
good.
we have, as Ms. Pinder also is our communications person, if you want to speak with, we have, as I said, past winners or past nominees, because again, they present a different perspective, because for us, we're excited about hosting this program. For them, a lot of times they say that this program has changed their lives. I remember Andrea Mutri, who was our second winner. She attended St. John's. And of course, I was always tracking. For me, I'm always tracking the students. I find out what you're doing. And I always just thought that she was always a very good student. And so when she went off to university, and she graduated, and I was so proud of her. And so I was like, oh, girl, you just made me so proud. She says, Mr. Deveaux, she said, you had a lot of pressure on me. I was like, what kind of pressure I had on you? She said, I never wanted to disappoint you. So I always did so well because I knew you were going to ask how I did. And I didn't want to disappoint you. And I was like, I mean, and I felt like I had this much pressure on this child. But she said that kept her grades up because she always wanted to make sure that I would have been proud of her.
Yeah.
And that truly worked.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so as we get ready to wrap up, I want to go around the room and get everybody's closing comments and their thoughts as we get ready to close up the show. I'll start with you, Ms. Pinder.
Yes, I would like to say to all of the 2025 nominees, I would like to start off by saying you are all winners. And I want that to be reiterated. I want that to be repeated. I want you to go daily because you are representing your school. You're representing your island. So remember that you are a winner.
Well, I'd first like to thank you, Mr. Adley, for inviting us to be a part of this show. And I would like to also thank our Vice President of Programs and Communications, Ms. Pinder, for the work that she does, because a lot of times people don't see the work that goes behind this program and keeping it alive and keeping it up for 29 years. And I am just out there. I'd like to thank all of the persons who are, have been sponsors, who are going to be sponsors, because you're going to hear this. And guess what? You can call, you can look in the phone book, or you can, our numbers is 364-4889 or 477-7869. As I said, we're in the phone book, or you can Google us, and you can get in contact with us, and we would love for you to partner with us, because we believe in recognizing the best and brightest in primary schools, and you can be that partner with us.
It's such a pleasure to have you both in the studio. The Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year Awards Program, recognizing outstanding sixth grade students in the Bahamian educational system, regardless of color, creed, family heritage, island or school representation, nationality, or religious affiliation. And joining us on this episode of The Youth Perspective, Stankisha Pinder, Vice President of Programs and Communications for the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year, and she was the 4th runner-up in the wonderful year of 1998, all right? And also Mr. Ricardo P. Deveaux, President and CEO of the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year Foundation. We thank both of you for joining us this evening.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
We thank you so much for being a part of this episode of The Youth Perspective. We'll see you again next week, Saturday. We'll do it all over again right here on 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas. Inspiration, 107.9 FM, where it's all gospel all the time. And Delight, 810 AM in Grand Bahama. Have yourself a wonderful evening. It's yours truly, Kashigan Jamal, for The Youth Perspective, where we shine the light on the youth of our nation. Good evening.
I'm trying to be great, and I'm on my way. Way up, way up, way up. It's never too late, and I'm on my way.
I'ma leave my mark. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set,
I hope you enjoyed another edition of The Youth Perspective. Stay tuned for more interviews, more in-depth conversation, great music as we seek to encourage, empower, impact, and uplift our youth of this nation. Here on The Youth Perspective, we'll see you next time right here on The Youth Perspective with Kashigan Jamal.